We've talked a lot about interviewing and how to ask questions and clarify and probe and give feedback to your respondents. We have not yet touched on the most important thing, which is how do you get in the door? What do you need to say in an introduction to convince someone that they should actually do the interview and talk to you? Some key points here. Your respondents need to know that we need their cooperation. Without respondents, we would have no data and we would have no results. So they are arguably the most important people in this process. As an interviewer, when you're knocking on someone's door, you can hope that they know what you are there to do and that they've heard about the research and are ready and willing to talk to you. But you don't know. They might have no idea who you are or why you're there. They might not want to talk to you. It's important, no matter what the situation, that you be respectful and polite and responsive. Show them that you're listening to them. Acknowledge their concerns. We'll talk a bit more in this video about concerns that people might have and how you can address them. In your introduction, you want to give your name. We'll give every interviewer an official ID badge so they can show that you are legitimate. Tell respondents that you're working on research that's sponsored by the tribe. This is an internal research project. It's only to understand people's opinions. No changes will be made right now before we collect a good cross-section of opinions and present the results to Tribal Council. The interview should only take 10 minutes. The ideal situation is having people do it right then when you're at the door. But if that doesn't work, if they are on their way out or busy, you can reschedule it for a time that's convenient for them. And people should know that they can't be replaced. You might have a situation where someone says, "Oh, I don't want to do it, but my husband is home, go talk to him." Or you're knocking on someone's door and the neighbor comes out and says, "Oh, he's not home, I'd be happy to talk to you, let me do it." And that's really not an option. We'll talk in a bit about the sampling and how we select people to participate in the research, but you should know that each person who's selected, that's who we need to talk to. We can't just talk to any old person, anyone who wants to talk to us, because then we would have biased results and they would not be as useful as the way we're doing this. More on the introduction. An important point here is to be yourself. So during the interview, as we've talked about, it's really important to be standardized and to read each question exactly as it's written in the order that it appears and so on. During the introduction, it's less important to be standardized. It's much more important to be yourself, sound natural, get the key points across, but don't sound like you're reading from a script. Sound like yourself in the way you talk. Be prepared to address some concerns. These are some things people might come up with. So why me? Why am I being chosen? What are you doing with my information? Who is going to see it? Who's going to know what I said? How long does this take? Are you going to stand here talking to me all day? And how do I know that this is legitimate? A lot of people, especially maybe older folks, feel very vulnerable, and you're knocking on their door, trying to go into their home. They might be concerned that you're there to steal their money or get their credit card information, and they need to know that this is actually legitimate research. So how to address these concerns? If someone says, "Why me? Why was I chosen?" You can explain to them that we do a computerized random selection of names, and everyone living on the boundary had the same chance of being chosen. And then it's like picking names out of a hat, only it's computerized. You can tell people the computer chose you. And we can't pick another name. We need to make sure we hear from a wide range of people, not just people who want to talk to us or people who happen to be available when we go to their homes. We have to talk to the people that we've selected. People might worry about what we're doing with this information. And we can tell them that everyone's answers, we're talking to probably between 300 and 500 people. Everyone's answers will be combined. We'll report to tribal councils so they can take the opinions of the communities into account when they're making any decisions. So they'll be able to see that 85% of people believe ABC, or 72% of people say XYZ. Everyone's answers are put together. They're not going to see one individual's responses. Tribal council will then make some decision, and the results of the research will be reported at community meetings in the fall. Nothing in our findings is secret. We're not making any decisions behind people's backs or behind closed doors. Right now, all we're doing is collecting information, and that information will eventually be used to make decisions that will be public to the community, and anyone in the community can know about them. At the same time, individual names are not attached to responses. So if people say, well, who's going to know what I said? Who's going to see my opinions? You can tell them that I don't write your name on the survey. Each person has a code number. That's what's written on the survey. The only people who even know who's chosen to participate are myself and the interviewers. Tribal council will never see the list of people who are chosen or who responded in what way. Your answers are never attached to your name. How long does it take? This is something people are often concerned about, because you've gone and knocked on their door. You don't know what they're doing. They might be eating dinner or cleaning the house or watching TV. Tell them it's really brief. It won't take more than 10 minutes. We can do it right now. If you, as the interviewer, are prepared, you have your questionnaire ready, and you can just start asking questions and show them how quick it is, how short it is. It doesn't take a lot of their time, and let them know most people think it's pretty interesting. These are questions about issues that really affect this community. And we really want to hear your opinions. They're important to us. The best case scenario, you would do it right there, and they would just knock it out and be done in 10 minutes. If that's absolutely not possible, try to make an appointment to come back. And, one tip here is to not say, is there a better time? Instead, because then people could just say, no, there's no better time. I don't want to do it. A better way to do it is to say, when is a good time? When are you free? When are you available for 10 minutes? And then they can tell you, and they might tell you, come back at 8 o'clock at night, or come back on Saturday morning. And as an interviewer, that's what you have to do. You really have to go to their house when you said you would go, and spend 10 minutes with them and get their answers. How do I know this is legitimate? As I said a few minutes ago, people might be concerned about scams. You'll have an official ID badge. You'll have an information sheet on official tribal stationery that will tell them some background and details about this research and why we're doing it. You'll also have contact information for Levita Lambert and Debbie Atek in the finance office. And people can call or email them and get more information and some assurance that this project is legitimate.